We're hoping this video will reach a lot of people, so let me introduce myself. My name's Pastor Ron Green. I pastor the church at Short Creek, or Short Creek Church, in a little town outside of Birmingham called Mulga, Alabama. I've been the pastor officially for 2 years and about 9 months, and unofficially, a little over 3 years. 268-76001 is my federal inmate ID number, and I've been married 3 times, and I've lived a very bad life. I was a drug addict, an alcoholic, food addict, sex addict. I was just addicted to sin, and I'm not sure why God would call me, but He has. And my heart is to help other people like myself get the help that they need and find the freedom that they need. But right now I need everyone's help. I had been with the Church of God of Prophecy before and after my divorce, and I was doing right. I was right out of prison. My wife wasn't interested in reconciling. She was with another man, and I divorced her and started dating again. They closed the pulpit to me. So I left and went to another church, and God used me greatly. When I got out there, I got involved with Celebrate Recovery and got real familiar with the addiction ministry. We ran different programs. My wife and I, we've been married now going on 6 years. I love her dearly. June the 10th will be 6 years. She is my partner in life. She is a wonderful, wonderful pastor's wife. She does such a wonderful job. My dad got sick in 2018. Toward the end of 2018, I got sick also. God was just working in the background, doing some things. I left a job and was pursuing my bodybuilding career and opened an online fitness and nutrition company, By Design Fitness and Nutrition. I no longer do that. I'm just in the ministry full time. By the time I got better, I could have went back to work, but my dad needed me. He was very sick. He needed to prepare. They were living in the parsonage here at Short Creek Church. A parsonage is a home that the church provides. They were living here, but they were needing to renovate their house out where we were on a piece of property, and he needed my help. My dad, some weeks, would have 2 to 3 strokes. It got to where he couldn't preach. We were attending Summerton Church of God, and I was helping out with the Celebrate Recovery there, and I was just doing what I always do. People would contact me to help raise the money to get them into rehab. I would sit down and talk with them. I'd mentor them. I would help them. I would do what I felt I could. But my dad needed my help, so we started coming to Short Creek Church. I had no interest in ever being a part of the Church of God of Prophecy again. They had their ideology concerning the harvest and my ideology concerning the harvest completely different. Completely different. And not all pastors are the same. But, they're still, the men need to be in ties and no shorts and, church, no tattoos, no piercings. The ladies can dye their hair blonde, but the girls can't dye their hair green. Their ideology was completely different than mine. But I started helping my dad. When I got here, we had around 8 to 12 coming. And my dad gave me some leeways to start an addiction program, and we started rolling. We probably had well over 100 Sunday morning. And the last couple of Sundays, we're pushed between 80 and 100. We seat 75 comfortably in our church. We baptized right at 90 people. We've helped countless, I know I've lost count, countless people get into rehab. We have an incredible outreach. We have bought a building 2 doors down from the church. We're opening a community life center and a boxing gym. Our young men are being feminized. We got a very manly church. Let me just say that. A lot of us lift weights. Some of us box. Of course, I just lift weights. I don't box. But I want to instill what a real man is in the community. we're very loving, open. I preach in flip-flops and slides and shorts on Wednesday nights. Wear your hat, that's fine. I'm about to get my next tattoo. We don't get caught up in all the religious bondage that repels people from church. Things were going pretty good. They said it wasn't possible. Then they put me forth. In August of 2019, they made me the pastor and give me my lay minister's license. I had finished their courses, hundreds of questions. I only missed one question out of hundreds of questions on their test. But I was in prison at the time, so I had plenty of time to study. Listen. If I'm looking at me on resume, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, if I'm looking at just Ron Green on paper, I wouldn't hire me as a pastor either. I mean that with everything inside of me. But God has called me to do this. And I love this community, and I'm passionate about the people at Short Creek. There were some things in my past. There's a lot in my past. Somebody made a social media post about something in specific that come up. But they were already looking at ways to get rid of me. They already were. They had decided not to ordain me. There were some questions that I had concerning, and I still hadn't had anybody answer this for me. Question, can a person be saved multiple times? I can't find it in Scripture. But of course, now, if you read the Church of God of Prophecy's teaching on salvation, it doesn't say. If you read their written, but based on that doctrinal differences and this popping up, and also I've been very, very, very outspoken against the prosperity, the word of gospel, the name it and claim it, the blab it and grab it. I've been very outspoken against that particular part of the Pentecostal movement. I've been very outspoken against the people who call themselves apostles and prophets. I've seen a lot of manipulation in churches with that. And I know that a large portion of the Church of God of Prophecy adheres to that teaching. I'm not saying they're lost. I'm just saying they're wrong. I'm saying that it's not about what God can give me. He's given me everything. He's given me my son. He's given me his son. His son died on my behalf. Now the rest of my life is meant to serve God, not God serve me. It's backwards. And I know that perturbed a lot of people. And if you're offended at me, I'm sorry, but go and pray. I'm praying. If I'm wrong, I pray. Show me where I'm wrong. Show me where I'm wrong about people being saved multiple times. So, Brother Sutton, we had a lot of demonic things going on. I'd reach out to Brother Sutton. He just got to where he wouldn't even respond. He wouldn't even call me. Here we are. We're on the local news 3 times. 3 times we're on the local news. We increase our attendance 500, 600, 700%. We triple our membership. And nobody ever comes. In the 84 years that this church has been a part of the Church of God of Prophecy, you can count on one hand the number of times that anybody's come from state or headquarters. 84 years. 84 years this church has been faithful. And we have never asked the denomination for 1 red cent. You know how I know that? Because our clerk has been the clerk since 1970. She has been here since she was born. She's 75, she was born. She was born in this church. We've never asked them for anything. They never, when the basement flooded, we didn't ask them for any money. We raised the money, sold chicken dinners, and got it fixed, and got bead dry in here, whatever that is. When we needed the parking lot paved, my dad and another elder of the church went down and signed the loan to get the money, the $25,000 needed to pave the parking lot. We've never asked them for anything. But on kind of the thing that come up, which 100% Brian Sutton knew about before he appointed me as pastor, he knew this specific thing. And let me tell you, it's by far not the worst that I've done. It's bad, and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my past. I'm not let it keep me bound up because I'm tired of people dying. I want to do something. I want to change this community. I want to reach this community. He would always tell me, make an impact, well, I'm making an impact. Everybody's coming to Short Creek. The altars there has been 5 services, 5 services in over 3 years where the altars didn't have someone in them. Sunday morning, there was no room left in the altar. People were trying to come pray and there was nowhere to pray. So Brian Sutton and I got together. Would have been, let me give you the exact date. Would have been back in November 2021. Would have been the 12th, November the 12th, that afternoon. He got with me to talk about the doctrinal difference. I wanted to talk to him too. It done met once. I'm like, dude, you said you're my pastor. You won't return my phone call. You will not send me a message back. I need help. This is a load. When you minister to somebody and you do everything you possibly can for them and they put too much dope in their arm and they die, it's a load. When you got kids in the community that their parents will not allow them, will not be consistent enough to even bring them to church, it is a load. Because you can see the repetitive cycle of what's going to happen to these kids too. And I'm just like, man, tell me, I'll come get them. I'll do anything to save your kids. It's a load. It's a load. It's a load that God's going to give me strength to handle. But now I got the new load. November the 16th, 2021. Now we met and talked about it, and we agreed that we believed the same thing. We just needed to reword it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to reword my salvation experience. This is what I believe. What do you mean reword? It sounds like I'm running for a political office. I'm not a politician. I'm a preacher. I don't reword things to make you feel better about them. I lived my life of compromise. I was in the car business, and I was a used car director, and I lied, and I cheated, and I stole, and I was rotten. I was rotten. I was bad to my wife. I was bad to my kids. I was a mess. But I have been washed in the blood of the Lamb. I still got issues. Trust me, this right here fires me up. So he called me that Tuesday. This is the letter. He called me and he sent me this letter. Now, number one, all he talked about in the Zoom call, he didn't have enough courage to come talk to me face to face. That's what gets me about these guys. Can't we have a face-to-face conversation like 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, tells us to? I'm not going to beat you up. I don't want to go back to prison. You just got to look your lying face. You got to look me with you got to look at me and lie to my face. Tell me you love me. You love money. This letter is to notify you because of doctrinal differences and unresolved moral accusations that have surfaced from. They didn't surface. They knew about them. The doctrinal differences, we had decided to do 1 hour a month. We had it on the schedule. 1 hour a month for him to explain to me what I was preaching that was wrong. They just said, well, can you stop preaching that way? I'm like, no. Show me in the Bible and I'll stop. And I sincerely, if somebody can show me where I'm preaching wrong, please show me. I promise I will submit. If I'm wrong, I will apologize. I will beg God to forgive me. The last thing I want to do is walk away Sunday morning thinking that I've led somebody wrong. Because the doctrinal differences and the moral accusations that everybody knew about, I was discharged, not to get back in the pulpit. I let him know that I was going to have a board meeting with the elders of the church and other leaders of the church, tell them what was going on, and then I'd let them know. The board meeting, the elders, and the church voted 100% that they would rather disaffiliate than lose Marilyn and I as their pastors. So we got an article in the bylaws that says if we have a 3/4 vote, we can disaffiliate. But now they're saying that they own the property. Now, for 84 years, we have paid state and national ties to general headquarters, probably to the sum of around, on the low end, probably $500 to $2,000 a month. I don't even know how much money that is. We've never received one penny from them. When I would reach out to them and say, hey, I need a good Bible study for men, I don't know of anything. Hey, I got people growling in my altars and spitting on me. I've never dealt with anything like that. Hey, I'm struggling because the Lord's told me something about somebody and I don't know how to process it. Nothing. I'm struggling with understanding the sovereignty of God and the idea of predestination. If it is true that God knows the date they're going to die and there's really nothing I can do about it, that takes a load off me. Hey, listen, I'm not saying I know. Nothing. Silence. No help. No support. And I complained to my mom, and my mom began to tell me some things they had done to my dad, how dirty, how low down they were to my dad. So we voted to disaffiliate. Not only 100% of the board, 100% of the church. All we wanted was get the deeds. The other day they sent us a letter, and I'll read you the gist of it. Please be aware that the Church of God of Prophecy has no intention of cooperating with any plan to dictate its policies to convert its property over to your clients. Your clients willfully chose to disassociate with the Church of God of Prophecy. You and your clients wish to purchase the property. Purchase. The Vines donated the church to the property. Stephen Eccles, which is part of the Vines. He married into that family, or the Eccles family. Anyway, you got the Greens, you got the Morelands, you got the Vines, you got the Hicks, you got all these families that have been here. Some of them are still very associated, very part of the church. Marilyn's grandparents donated the property right here. Stephen Eccles, being grandparents, donated the property where the church was built. The people of this community built this church, and the Church of God of Prophecy did not give 1 red cent. Now they want us to buy it back by June 15th. We're not going to buy it back. We're going to fight. We are going to fight. I think I covered everything. Let me look over my notes. What does this do to the community? The community's pitched in. People have donated building supplies. We've bought and purchased and paid cash for a building. I guess they expect us to buy that back too. The community's donated. People from the community have come and helped. Another church just sent us $1,000 to finish the foundation so we can get the Life Center open. We're a blue-collar church. A lot of our people are just getting their lives back together. They're still paying court costs and court fees. We don't have doctors and lawyers. We're just country folk. And a lot of us have been in trouble, but we love Jesus. But this is bad for the kingdom. And this is the reason I know people don't. But let me tell you something. Not every church is like these people. And these, at best, at worst, they don't even have a relationship with God. How can you do this? Almost 90 baptisms, helping countless people get into rehab. Powerful service. On Tuesday night, we either have a marriage class or a women's or a ladies group. On Wednesday nights, we have church. Thursday night, we go to a local rehab and have chapel service. Friday night, we have a 12-step program, and the parking lot is packed. We go through God in the 12 steps, the adults downstairs and the youth upstairs, and it is packed. We feed them. A couple Saturdays a month, we have events. Sunday morning at 9:30, we have Sunday school for 3 different groups, and they are full. And then Sunday at 10:30, we start worship. And all but 5 services where we actually have worship and everything, the altars have been full. So we're looking for an attorney. We've got some recommendations we're working on. I just want everybody to know the story. And we're going to be passing a petition around. I'll be sending out addresses so people can write letters, sending out phone numbers so people can call. I think the more attention we can bring, the more light we can shed on this darkness, the more pressure they'll feel to back off, give us the deeds to our property, and let us go on. But we will fight. If we have to mortgage our personal property to get money for an attorney, we will do whatever it takes. We will not let this stand. We need to sell this parsonage, put the money together, and build a bigger building because we are crowded. We're out of room. On Friday nights, Wednesday nights, our marriage class downstairs don't even hardly fit anymore, with 12 couples showing up, 12, 15 couples showing up. So as we pass this petition around, I ask you to please sign it. Let's put pressure on them. If you love what we're doing in this community, and I know I'm not a lot of Christians' favorite preacher, I know that, and I understand that. I know I'm harsh on religious folks. I understand that, and I don't blame you. If I was you, I wouldn't like me either. But if you're passionate about wanting to see lives saved, if you're passionate about a church that's willing to give away free Narcan, if you're passionate about a church that's willing to pay intake fees to get people into rehab and make sure they have what they need while they're in rehab, if you're passionate about a church that's got programs to help people get off drugs and alcohol, if that's you, please sign this petition.